Aloha, welcome. And I have someone who's been driving me crazy all morning. So I was like, you can come over here and say hi to everyone because I can see there's some people in chat who love you to death. And here is Mr. Wrigley. Yes, Sir Wrigley Robert. Robbie, I'll throw Robert in there. How's that? Since this little guy, yeah, you love to make videos for people, don't you? So, and aloha, everyone. I hope everyone's having an amazing Friday. It's Aloha Friday, of course. What is this live without announcing to everyone that we're on to Aloha Friday? So, are you actually going to get tired now? Are you actually tired, Wrigley? You weren't tired a second ago. You were trying to jump out of my arm. So, and also hope everyone's been having a great week. I myself have been, oh my gosh, it has been like the week. Well, okay. In theater, they call it Hell Week for a reason. And it has been Hell Week. And also giving people a couple minutes to get on in here. I know there's a lot going on in YouTube world right now. I mean, a lot going on in YouTube world right now. So hello, Miss Lufa. I just saw your message there. And Miss Rosaling. Rosaling, thank you so much. She was racing home to get home and all to be able to help out and everything. And I saw Robbie there. Cantina has been awesome. Okay, because I have a little banner here for it. So now I'll have that. Awesome. Thank you so much. And also, let's see who else was up at the top. I had Mama Jane Starr. Thank you so much. She came in right away this morning and was posting stuff. She was awesome. And Save Robbie, of course, came in. Thank you, my dear. And you have no idea how cool it feels when you sit down and you're trying to get all your banners together and stuff like that. And you see these little comments popping up. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. This is cool. This is cool. I love this. Okay, I can do this. Yes. So Jet's mom, hey girl, how you doing, my dear? So, okay, are you going to fall asleep like that? He may just fall asleep like this yeah. At this point, he may very well just fall. He was trying to jump out of my hands a few minutes ago, but we are told the problem is they can't see you right now. Wrigley. They can't see you, little boy. Okay, you can stay right there. How's that? And also, it's been a crazy. There's that girl. How you doing, my dear? Mwah. And also, we'll keep you for a few. No, you are not going to tear off my necklace. Anyone who's ever had a puppy or a dog or a cat knows the feeling when. Okay, we are done. Say goodbye. Say bye-bye, Riggy. Say bye-bye, Wrigley. Bye-bye. Mwah. Okay, get down there with your mom and everyone else. So, yeah, it's been crazy. Yes, Robbie, we had puppy on just for you. And no, they are not going to start barking. And there's a reason why they're not going to start barking. I am learning very, very quick. Hey, Prison Mike. And thanks for coming by and thanks for the thing. I got his mama here and his sister, but he rules the house. He may only be 3 months old, but he's got the personality of, Wrigley, come, this one. Okay, your mom can have that one. He's got to steal everyone else's. And yes, see, that's the key in life. They love live days because they get treats. The birds are not happy. As long as she doesn't whistle. Otherwise, okay, yeah. I got the bird treat, which is called peanut butter. And also, we are set and all, but yeah, it's been a crazy between YouTube craziness and the show that I've been stage managing opens tonight. Oh, tonight. And it's going to go well. It's really going to go. We had an awesome, oh my God, are you laughing at me? And no problem, Save Robbie. No problem, Robbie. We'll see you when you get back. If not later, whichever. And no problem, Lufa. No problem at all, my dear. So, Prison Mike has birds too. Yeah, I've got an African gray right here. And he's a rescue and I love him to death. But he's in the cage right now because the puppy doesn't know how to play with a bird who could potentially take a leg. And thank you, Robbie. Yes, med. I don't know if I can say that, but in theater we say it. Break a leg, med, all that. You got it. So it's going to be a fun show. Actually, it is going to be a fun show, and I will be posting for people who are interested the links to that because it is going to be on YouTube. Actually, it will be you pay for tickets and then you get the link, of course. But it's basically Shakespeare as a comic book. If you can figure that one out, you're doing good. And also, it's been a fun week, a lot of work, but a lot of stress from the initial tech last week. And that's actually kind of one of the reasons why I picked this subject is because I hit tech on last Saturday, which is when we pull all the technical parts of the show together. And we discovered we did not have the bandwidth to run 12 iPads through OBS, okay, into Zoom, through Zoom, into OBS, into YouTube. So all of a sudden, we did not know if we had a show after how many months of rehearsing. So it has been absolutely that girl. I will definitely share the link with you guys because it should be an amazing show. Actually, I laughed so hard last night through certain parts. It was just crazy. Just as a disclaimer, I am stage managing it, so I am not on stage. I am actually during intermission, a certain little hidden joke that's going to be happening during intermission. If you happen to join, you will notice someone in chat, and that's me. And also, but yeah, the stress got me. The stress really freaking got me. I mean, I was having a rough time. And anyone who's dealt with stress knows stress can it just does something to your body. Your body starts reacting in different ways, and you're trying to react back before your body reacts. I don't know about it. For me, it's, hey, Sherry, Kate girl, how you doing? And your body has a way of reacting. And that's why I was like, okay, I know this stuff. Okay, all of us have heard, and most of us have probably at some point or another, even back in high school, heard about your body's reaction to trauma and stress and things like that. We've all heard bits of it, but you know what? If you're my age, it's been a while since I studied all that crap. And I kind of needed to go back to that crap. Yeah, that girl. It is killer. It is really killer. And stress of all sorts, whether it's your family stress levels, work, YouTube, your own hobby. I mean, how many of you guys have a hobby where, you guys know, I do diamond painting. I have poured out little beads, what we call our diamonds, our drills into this thing and spilled 100, 200 little tiny things that are like that big all over the floor. Okay. And just the stress, it builds up and your body starts reacting before you get to react. And that is what I needed to go back to, because sometimes these things get triggered not just from trauma. For a lot of us, it's more acute because of the trauma that we may have gone through. That was something I actually learned while researching this, that everyone has that flight, fright, reaction to things. But for people who've been through trauma, people who've been through, have PTSD, CPTSD, which is childhood PTSD, things like that, we go through this type of reaction so often that our body starts expecting we're going to have to go through it again. So you start going into these reactions for the smallest things that and of course that gets down on you. All of a sudden you're like, why the hell is it affecting me? Okay, this is just a freaking tech rehearsal. Why am I reacting like this and others aren't? Well, it's because of what's my head has expected after all these years. And so kind of went back and I was like, okay, so what is the reaction to stress and trauma? And I combined them into both, because I think for many of us, it's not just a reaction to trauma now. It is a reaction to stress also. So the first thing, if you kind of go back all the way down to your psychology classes in high school or your biology classes and all, you may have heard about this little part of your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is basically what is at fault for this whole freaking thing. And it's the amygdala who, okay, something happens. Okay, say right now, this stupid bookcase behind me that needs cleaned, okay, falls down. Okay, I am going to jump out of my skin. I am going to run across the room. It's going to take me a good 15, 20 minutes to calm myself down. And that's the amygdala. Your amygdala is this primitive part of the brain that reacts before the rational side of you reacts. So your rational side would be like, it's a bookcase. You overloaded it on this side and it fell over at this point, or there was an earthquake or whatever the hell happened that caused it. Your rational side is like, it's not a huge Godzilla coming after me to eat me up. But my amygdala is positive. It's not only Godzilla, it's Bigfoot at the same time coming after me. And we're going to set this whole thing up and make sure that we get you safe. That's the amygdala's whole plan here. Let's keep this person safe. And you got it. I'm watching in there. Yeah, that girl, Cherry K, you too. Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of us, and the more of us that have been through it, the more we just kind of jump to. The amygdala, we've trained it really well. It's been trained very well over the years. And now what we have to do is we have to go back to it and kind of take some of its control away. It has an important part to play. Okay, we need it to tell us what to do if we are walking downtown at night and someone jumps out with a gun or something. Okay, we need its reaction at that point. But I don't need its reaction if this bird starts squawking in the middle of a live and I go to the worst case scenario. And so what does the amygdala do? Okay, other than totally mess us up at times. Okay, well, there's a lot of physical things that it starts putting into play. It immediately, you will notice, you start breathing shallow. You're hyperventilating. Okay, it's getting harder to get your breath. Okay, I can get this. And you're trying to, you can't catch your breath. You can't talk anymore because you're out of breath. You're just all over the place at that point. That's coming from the amygdala. The amygdala is starting to take blood. It's sending signals to the other parts of the brain also. But the biggest important area to take a look at here is how it pulls blood and stuff away from the body. So as it does that, it's increasing your heart rate, which is what happens with your heart rate. You start all of a sudden getting the heart palpitations and oh my gosh, you're just, everything's okay. Your heart rate goes from 60, 70 to all of a sudden you're well over 100. You're up in the 130s, 140. Okay, if you know your red zone, bingo. And all the blood, as your heart rate is increasing, is going out to the extremities because your amygdala knows for us to get away, our legs have to be able to run. Our arms have to be able to fight. Okay, we also need less blood in our important organs inside because if something happens and we got, shot, and it's idea, you know what, less blood to come out too. So it's kind of pulling all these, different ways of doing all these things at once. So the blood's going to our extremities so we can take that next step. Now, as all this is happening, anyone, I know all of us have heard this, about peeing our pants in the middle of this, you get scared shitless and you pee your pants. Well, that's actually part of this. You're getting to the point where, all the blood's going away, which has less, volume stuff inside. There's physics here. And your bladder relaxes. Awesome, that girl. Your bladder relaxes, and next thing you know, oh my gosh, if you live in Hawaii, you need to go shishi. That's what we call it out here. You need to go take a pee. And that that feeling. Now, whether you need to or not, who knows, but you just feel like you need to all of a sudden because there's more, like you're a pregnant woman and you get more pressure because you're getting more pressure inside because of the baby. In this case, okay, everything kind of goes loop and whoop, I need to go. Okay, other things that go on. Your mouth. Yes, she, Cherry. I knew you would love that one, girl. I knew you would love that one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the stories I can tell you on that word. Oh, as I look at my mom. And also, other things that happen is your mouth goes dry. It's seriously, okay, you all get that cotton mouth feeling. Okay, because again, the blood is being pulled away from certain areas. Okay, all these things are happening to change the chemistry in certain areas, and your mouth goes dry. You have a problem speaking at that point. The other thing going, hey, Mama J, no worry, girl. You know it. No worry ever to any of things. Okay, you know, family, life, all that takes priority over YouTube any day. And if anyone has a problem with that, I'll deal with them. But no. And seriously, though, no. Family needs to always take priority. Work needs to take priority over things like this. We're here on YouTube, recorded later, my dear. So, next thing, and this is something I know I've always had issues with, it seems. And for me, it's nervousness, too. My hands get cold and they get sweaty. Like right now, my fingertips are ice cold. Now, that could be because I have air conditioning running in here right now. But then you also get the sweaty hands. It never failed for me. I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, and we would have to go to church on Fridays, I think it was, if I remember right. And during the Our Father, we would hold hands or the hand shake and everything. And I remember literally my friends and I, for holding hands, would do pinkies because no one wanted to risk touching someone else's sweaty hands back then. Or you'd sit there and you'd rub your hands and stuff like that because it's that reaction. And especially in those early years, the pubescent years and stuff like that. That's what's going on. So your hands are getting cold. They're getting sweaty. All this blood is pulling out in different areas. Your extremities start to shake. Okay, more blood going to your legs. Your legs aren't used to this all the time, and your legs start shaking. Your arms start shaking in preparation for fighting, potentially. What if you have to run away? Your muscles need to be prepared for that. So your muscles are kind of shaking and getting ready, just in case they have to go running real quick. Your vision. Many of us talk about this, okay, a tunnel vision. Okay, the idea here is your amygdala's telling you, hey, girl, there's something going on and you need to focus on it. Boom, focus right down. Okay, forget all this crap behind you here. You need to focus on this one thing that's in front of you, and I'm going to make sure that you can focus on nothing but that. And you literally, everything here goes black. I don't know. Do you guys in chat, have any of you guys had that happen to you where all of a sudden everything seems to have gone totally black except for what's right there in front of you? You can't, it's almost like you can't even pull your eyesight away to look at what else is going on. Has anyone in chat ever actually had that happen? You have Cherry, Rosalind sending love out. It's scary. It's scary in a way. At that time, I don't feel it, but later it's just like, oh my gosh. And the other thing that I did not know about this as I was reading through, and that is that our body starts focusing, our brain actually will start revisiting and rethinking through past traumas at that moment. We may not be acknowledging it, really. Okay, yes, some of it, you hear about people like things flashing before their eyes and stuff like that in certain situations. Well, what it's doing at that point is it's trying to figure out, okay, what has happened in the past? How did I deal with it? And what do I need to know as I move forward to deal with it again? Is there anything from my past I need to know so I can react correctly this time? So that was something interesting because a lot of times I would find myself kind of triggered during this, and I didn't know why I was triggering quite. Now that I looked at this, I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that did happen. And it makes more sense to me now. And is more so the problem becomes, as we talk to within this, as I mentioned at the beginning, it is not always trauma that is making this happen. Sometimes it is something as stressful as starting a live stream, okay, or finding out that the show that we'd been rehearsing might have to be canceled if we can't figure out something else. Okay, no, it wasn't ever going to be canceled. We had other plans, but there's all these things that come into play. But I was getting triggered during that. And of course, anyone who's ever dealt with triggers know exactly how hard that is on you as you're trying to ground yourself. Hey, Siren, how you doing, my dear? And yeah, you're trying to reground yourself at that time, but it's hard to reground yourself from all this other crap when you're also dealing with past traumas popping up. Ooh, Siren's driving home. Okay, Siren, drive safely. No reading chat. No doing anything I ever do. Don't go talking into Siri. Okay, yeah, all the shit that I do every single time. But yeah, be safe, Siren, please. But so as we start looking at this, the one thing I find, this is just me and my personality though, is the more knowledge I have on something, the easier it is for me to deal with those things. Knowledge is power, many people say. Okay. And yeah, there's some facts behind, yeah, knowledge is also problematic too at times because depending on who they are, it goes all over the place. But knowledge on this type of thing allows me to be able to say, okay, this is what's happening with my body. It's normal. Okay, yep, Siren, you got it. Pay attention to the road, nothing else. So and you get moving forward on what you need to do for yourself. So what are the things that are important to know? How can I deal with this? Well, that makes it even harder because there's many different ways of reacting to stress and trauma. 4 specifically. And yes, it's 4. As of last night, I only thought there were 3 ways. I found out there is a 4th reaction to stress. There is a 4th way people sometimes deal with it. So I wanted to go through that right now, those 4 trauma personality types. Okay. And this actually goes into full psychology stuff. And I've got slides I can share with you guys offline and stuff like that. Some really interesting stuff. But there are basically 4 different types of personalities that develop out of trauma. Okay, ways to deal with the trauma. Okay, we've often hear at the beginning, you heard of 2, flight or fight. Those were the ones we heard most of our lives. Then people started adding in freeze. And that was something newer. A couple years ago, we started hearing more flight, fight, or freeze. There's now, like I said, a 4th one, which is called fawn. Okay, yes, like the deer, a fawn. And so it's important to understand where these come from. And as I started talking to people last night in DMs and stuff about what I was going to do, and for today's subject, it was like, well, which one am I? Oh, I'm a little of everything. Since when are any of us easy to understand? We all take bits and pieces of everything around us, and it's trying to figure out exactly the balance of all this stuff within yourself and how to work with it. So let's kind of go through, the plan here is to go through these 4 types and then talk about a handful of grounding techniques. Because, hey, what's the use of talking about these personality types if we can't figure out ways to deal with everything when we're going through that trauma issue? Okay, so first, we all hear Cherry K, I freeze or flight mainly. There you go. That was actually me too. I was not a fighter myself. And I also discovered, though now I've got a lot of fawn in me. So, but we'll talk about exactly where everyone feels they are. So first is fight. Okay, and you're going to see words that I throw in here. These are kind of, if you need a kind of name to help remind you what this type of personality reacts and how they react, there you go. This person is seen as often the bully. When a stress comes towards them, they tend to react, okay, in a more physical way. They react more like a bully would. Okay, this type of person, they pursue power and control. They know they can deal with other people if they can have power over them and control them. Because if you can do that, then you don't need to worry about them trying to play any games on you, is the whole thought process behind this. And their survival, okay, that's how they survive. That's how they go about surviving. And common characteristics of them. What is, hey, Amber and girl, catch up is good, especially, well, yeah, catch up, not catch up. But yeah, especially my voice on 2 times speed. Forget Laura Ingalls Wilder. It's Laura Ingalls Wilder on crack or something like that. Yes. And sorry, I have an issue with my voice if you can't tell. But so common characteristics. What are these things that we tend to see mostly with a fighter? Okay, that type of personality. Well, they tend to be much more on a normal life. Okay, what I'm talking about now on characteristics and the continuum and all is more of what is this person like on a day-to-day basis? Because we are not just these people when there's a stress or trauma. Hey, Gulf Coast Mama, how you doing, my dear? And it's not just during the rough times that we are these people. We're these people all the time. So this type of person often is seen as incessant. They monologue all the time. They sit there and they take control of all the conversations and stuff because, again, remember, if they can control what's going on around them, then they don't need to worry about people taking control over them. Okay, they seem to be critical quite often because, again, being in control, if they're better than everyone else, then they have the control over everything else. And they tend to rage very quickly. They're the ones that you guys will be talking and something little will happen that kind of would go off of your back and they've gone off the deep end already. Okay, fight does not always mean fighting as in physical type stuff. It can be other types of things too. And now, one thing with this that I think is very important for us to realize is that with all 4 of these types, there's a continuum. Based off of how you utilize what's going on in you, each of these has good sides. Each of these has the potential for becoming bad. The personality traits inside each of these areas can go either direction and anywhere in between. So for each, I did want to also kind of take a look at what is that continuum for those people, from positive to negative or negative to positive. Okay, so first, someone who is the fighter, again, the most negative side, you're seeing it right there in the word there. They're the bully. Okay, someone you grew up with who was a bully most likely is a fight trauma personality type. They are the ones who are going to be fighting. They're explosive. At the most negative, they will explode at you. They are controlling. Okay, they want to have that control over everything that goes on. They're type A. Okay, nothing wrong with type A. I can become type A very quickly. And but they're type A to the point where, okay, we've gone way beyond what we need to be doing. And they can be very autocratic. Okay, one person rule over everything else going on. Okay, now on the positive though, there's a number of, hey, here she goes. Welcome, my dear. And they're very assertive. That's something I've always wished I was more assertive. Okay, they know their boundaries and they stick to their boundaries. You are not going to ever get someone who is way on the other side of using their, okay, this side for the positive to cross those boundaries because these are their boundaries and you're not going to cross them. Okay, they have courage. Okay, they've learned how to use all this stuff to have courage and determination. They are leaders. Okay, they are the ones who take on the leadership capabilities. Again, they're pursuing power and control to deal with all this stuff. So if they use all of the skills that they have for the positive, they're going to make amazing leaders because they do have that ability in them. And they're articulate, very articulate. Okay, they can make sure people understand what they're talking about. Okay, they can actually speak very, very well. And so your person, when they are that way, they are definitely looking at their life from, what do I need to do to ensure that other people do not attack me? And the only way to ensure no one can attack me is to have the upper hand to begin with. And so our next is flight. A couple people here have already said, I'm part a flyer. Hey, Beans or Bob, thank you. You made it. Yes. And we talked earlier in one of the Discord. So thank you so much for making it, my dear. And flight. A couple of you have already said, hey, I'm a flight person. Okay, I'm flight. Okay, so flight people are also known as your workaholics. They're the one, when something happens, when they have stress hitting them, trauma hitting them, things like that, they go into massive work mode. I need to do everything in my power to get away from this, to deal with this, to make sure they control it. Instead of controlling physically or with their words or something, they control it through their actions. If I pull into myself and make sure I can do everything that I need to do, okay, if I avoid other people, if I focus on just being perfect, it'll be fine. I won't have to worry about the rest of this stuff because no one's ever going to jump down on me for anything because I'm perfect at what I'm doing. My boss is never going to pull me into the office for one of those talks because I'm doing my job just the way they want me to do it. So that's your flight person. Your flight person escapes into thought and action. Okay, that's their whole way of focusing on life is I'm going to make sure I deal with everything that's coming at me through the way I think and through the way I act. And so they are going about with this idea that I got to do this correctly because if I don't, I'm going to have an issue to deal with later. Okay, if they're really going into flight, yes, they're the ones who are going to go run, okay, run, try to find themselves. Run doesn't mean run to the end of the street as far away as possible. That's something I think a lot of us would be doing. They are going to escape the situation itself. That could be into their own head. Into how do I get out? Okay, run. Okay, physical running away, physical running. Maybe it's just 10 feet away because they know that's the safe zone to be. But it's also figuring out in their head what needs to happen at that point. And these people can range, okay, from, and sorry, I was wrong on some earlier when I said that they could go type A. That was wrong. Sorry. Okay, your fight person actually will go between assertiveness and bullying. Your flight person is the one who goes from being very efficient to a type A personality. Those are the two ends here. And also a continuum, if you may. As for their continuum, hey, Katie K, how you doing, my dear, today? Going into a weekend. And your flight person, and hey, as I'm talking about these things, throw up a hand, whatever, in chat if this is someone who sounds more like you and the way you deal with things. And on the negative side, okay, these people, they tend to disengage from things. The way they deal with stuff, because they are disengaging into their thought, into their way of, okay, if I just focus on what I need to do to be perfect, focus on what I need to do, it's more of an internalized thing for them. They're very healthy at retreating. They're not, if there's a fight that's starting to happen around them, even if it is a husband-wife type fight, they're going to be the first one who backs down. And once things get to reach a certain point. Me. There you go, Beans or Bob. Thank you so much. And me works. Okay, they are industrious. Okay, this is sorry, I switched over to positive, and they are very industrious. They know what they're doing, and they really can make things work. Okay, because they're looking at everything around them. Okay, how can I make sure this issue gets solved before it becomes a problem? So they're very industrious, very good at solving problems. Okay, they persevere. They push through things. They make sure that they can answer all the different issues that are going on and have the control where the fighter had the control outside. This group's the control is within themselves. And they're very objective. They're very objective. They will look at everything going on around them because they know it is about how they react to everything, but they need to understand how everything is working to begin with. So they're very much that way. Now, a person who is a flight person who tends to allow the more negative side of things to come into play and start allowing the amygdala flight portion to take over their brain, they are the panickers. They're the worriers. They're the ones who are always like, oh my God, this is going to happen because if this happens, this is going to happen. And if that happens, this is going to happen. Okay, I mean, they have the whole list of everything in the world that can fall apart. And they rush. They're driven. Okay, I got to solve this. Okay, because if I solve this, then there's going to be no problem. So I'll continue ensuring all of these tasks need done. They have their huge long task list. I got to make sure all the tasks are done. And I will work until I get them all done, even if it's 16, 17 hours a day, Mom. And they'll continue doing all those things. They're adrenaline junkies. This group, when they allow that amygdala part, they also get to where they enjoy that feeling, those feelings, okay? Not saying everyone, but many people, they're the ones who will be jumping out of a plane with a parachute on them. They get to where they like that adrenaline that's going on because their whole life is about everything happening all at once so that they can solve everything because they're flying from issue to issue. And they're micromanagers. Because again, having control over your own life ensures that nothing else is going to come in from the outside to affect your own life. So you're a micromanager at that point because I can control what's going on. And so moving on from there, okay, we had a couple of flighters here. We got Cherry K as a half flighter, and we got a me, and things like that. So now, what's next? Those are the first two that we've always heard about. When I was in school, that's all I heard about was flight, fright, flight, fright. Okay, well, flight, fight, fight. Yeah, there's a good tongue twister. I'm going to stop saying that. And so there's a third one that started up, and many of us have heard that one, this new other one also, and that is freeze. These are the freezers. Something starts happening to them, and they just freeze. They're also known as the couch potato. And so the couch potato themselves, what is it that they're looking at in life? Okay, their common characteristics that they're looking at and their voice is avoid the imperfect around us. So rather than controlling the imperfect, controlling the issues that are going around outside of them, just avoid it. It's not going to be an issue if I'm not part of all that. Okay, if I pull myself away, it won't ever be an issue and it won't ever affect me. So that's how this person would do it. It's a more outward versus inward. Characteristics for this type of person. Well, they tend to be more the hibernators. Okay, if all you're looking at is your own life and what is going on in your own life, and no problem, my dear beans, or no problem. Thanks for coming by. I actually really appreciate you coming by. So thank you so much. And thank you. And I'll see you in Discords for sure. And these people, they hibernate. Okay, they sleep. Because they're more internalized, okay, they're not running around trying to solve everything in the world out there. Okay, they're your daydreamers. Okay, because they're not having to worry about everything. Everything is internal. So their whole story is going on in their own head. Everything is really internalized for them. They are your TV people. They're the online browsers. They're the one who are all over the internet, okay, playing their video games, all your WoW players, World of Warcraft players, things like that. I've always kind of seen myself a little bit in this area myself. Okay, I'm very, very comfortable in this area. Okay, I hide from the world. If I'm having issues, if I start having stress climbing down on me, many of you have noticed this. I disappear. Okay, I have some very amazing friends out there, and you guys know who you are, who will check on me at those times. It's like, wait, I haven't heard from Loco in a day or two. Let's go check on her. I've recognized a couple of you guys here in your own, okay, comments on Discords or YouTubes or whatever said, sorry guys, I've disappeared for a few days and all. So much was going on and I just had to deal with. We're pulling into ourselves so we can try to heal ourselves. And so see, that's why I'm saying these things aren't all negative. There's negative and positive. It's what we do with it that makes the difference. So the continuum for this person, this type of person, okay, negatively, if they allow this to totally take over their life and the idea of hiding and freezing becomes everything about them, Cherry Kate, yeah, exactly. I think a lot of us in this group do this because I think this is also an introvert reaction. That's just me thinking this. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. Out of those of you who do the freeze thing, how many of you are introverts? I'm wondering if there's an introvert versus extrovert side to the personality types here. So someone who is has allowed this to take over themselves, okay, whether they realize it or not, none of us ever realize it. We tend to become the ones who are isolating. We isolate ourselves. We are the ones who actually would have had no problem during the whole COVID problem because, okay, in isolation of everything, because you know what? It's kind of felt nice to not have to worry about being out there with everyone else. I've discovered this recently, okay, and tied in with COVID, that a lot of people coming out of COVID are dealing with this freeze side. They've been so comfortable in dealing with the trauma of COVID by freezing and pulling inside that now they can't seem to pull themselves outside anymore. And it's something really interesting I've started noticing, and I'm kind of looking at a little more deeper now. There you go, that girl. Only problem was getting bored, and that was it for me too. I had no problem sitting there. I'd play on my game. Okay, I play WoW for a while, and then I got introduced over to YouTube, and then I'm into all my little areas on YouTube, and I blame those of you who introduced me to other channels on that. And then I got into my diamond painting, and I was doing all these little things. Some people were like, oh, I got to set up Zoom parties and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm very happy this way. And so these people become the couch potatoes. They're the ones who will sit here and they will stream and stream and stream and stream, and they never get tired of it. And they'll rewatch the same show 5 or 6 times because they're comfortable. And they can be called the space case. Okay, you hear about the space cases out there, the ones that are kind of like, okay, they're kind of way out there and everything. And that's often these type of people. They've pulled inside them so much that they don't need to worry about impressing anyone else. So they're who they are. And that's all that matters. And they're hermits. They're very happy who they are. And they will continue. Now, on the positive side, because again, there's positive on this too. It's all where you take it. They're very acutely aware of stuff because they are focused on themselves. They understand themselves very well. They really get a good inkling of who they are and what makes them tick. And they start spreading that out to other people. Okay, so when they're watching people, say someone on a YouTube level, we're the one, okay, you're a freezer that, okay, sits out here. And now all of a sudden you're on YouTube where you got other people. They're the ones who are very acutely aware of what's going on around them. They're very mindful. They can be extremely mindful about what's going on and how people are reacting to things and just trying to walk that line between stuff. They're poised for readiness. They're always ready because they don't have so many things. Okay, like a flight person has so many things going on. They can't be focused on what might just be right behind them. This person knows what's going on and they're ready to jump if they need to. They're very peaceful, detached. Okay, they have a presence about them that is like almost a calming presence to them. So we all know many people like this. Okay, quite a few. Look at Katie K right there. And I love that little emoji popped up right as I said certain things. They've got these presences to them that just, a lot of us see this when we're on. Okay, you get this when you're watching Rosaling's chat. You can see in some people coming into the chat that just have this presence to them. And so that is our flight person. Our freeze person. Okay. Yeah, Cherry, you either want to do everything or nothing at all. And that is definitely, I think you hit yourself on the head earlier with which group you're on. And so the next group is the group that really utterly threw me. Okay. And that is what's called fawn. I don't know. Okay. Let me ask you guys this. How out of it am I? How many of you have ever heard of the fawn personality type for trauma? Okay, I suspect all of you guys have heard about flight and fight. Many of you have heard about the freeze bit. I'm wondering how many people have ever heard of fawn. You have, Prison Mike has. Okay, good. See, you've not, Katie K. It's interesting. I don't know how long this fourth type has been around. Nope, Cherry K. I think yes, Prison Mike, you got it exactly. This was interesting to me, and this is actually the other side, I think, where I fall. Okay, one of my main areas, like I said, I tend to be a freeze, fawn, not really a fight much, a little bit of a flight, just a little combo of all those. But all of a sudden, I never really found a place where I fit into everything perfectly, and now all of a sudden, things are starting to make a lot more sense to me. So a fawn. The fawn is known as the people pleaser. Okay, trauma occurs in their life, stress occurs in their life, and they handle it by making sure everyone is happy around them. Okay, it's just something that feels it's a way they can calm everything down around them. They please people, plain and simple. Okay, their idea is that for us, unconsciously, okay, and I read this and it was interesting. Their thought is the price of admission to any relationship is the forfeiture of all their own needs, rights, preferences, and boundaries. This was huge for me personally. That's why this thing really struck a chord in me personally. Because for years, I didn't think I deserved any boundaries. Okay, if I was in a relationship, well, a relationship should be good back and forth and stuff like that. Well, how can you have boundaries and still be back and things didn't quite make sense for me. As I saw this, it's like I started accepting it, but now I see it and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. There's also childhood conditions that lead to each of these areas, which I did not focus on as much. I mean, I can do, if people are interested, I can do a different live on what leads to each of these areas. For example, in this one, it's usually a child of a narcissistic parent. Okay, they're learning that to deal with any type of trauma, you just deal with making the person happy. So it makes sense. Okay, love can be earned by doing things like that. So other things that go in with this is their common characteristics. Okay, we keep talking about this for each of these groups. What is it that makes them who they are when you look at them? Well, they're your entertainers, your class clown. if you look at it that way. We went back to school again. Okay, your class clown always tried to make everyone happy and make everyone laugh. That was a sign that they were more on the fawn side. Okay, where your fighter was more the bully. And they are your yes man. Okay, yes ma'am, yes sir, no matter what. Okay, yes, I'll make sure that happens. For sure. Okay, they're your nice guys. They're the ones who are going to always make sure that they're being nice to you and everyone else, not thinking that they're going to get something back in exchange for it. But they are, because what they're wanting is to know that they're not going to upset you, that you're going to care about them and things like that. It's not for monetary return or popularity return or anything like it's just for that one-on-one type of relationship. And they have a very high concern with fitting in. High school days, okay? You want to be part of the in crowd. Okay, YouTube, you want to know the right people, things like that. They're very focused on that. Okay, they flatter other people to get it. Okay, those are a number of different positive and negative characteristics. But what about the continuum itself? Okay, so continuum. Let's start again on the positive side. We kind of went through some. They love people. They love to give service to people. They really, a person, when they're using this for the best that they can, they want to be of service to other people. Yeah, Mama Jane Star, I could see that. I know it fits me very well at times. A couple of these things, no, because again, every one of us are on a continuum. So that's why none of these actually fit anyone perfectly, because we're all on a different portion of that continuum. And that's what's important for people to think about. These people learn how to compromise. They learn how to go between two different groups and say, okay, guys, I understand you, but I understand you. I think here's where the solution is. And both sides got to be able to work with each other. They're very good at listening. They're very good at listening because after all, how are they going to please other people if you cannot listen to them and listen and hear what they're saying? And yes, KDK, yes, I think you can be a mix of most. Okay, let me know if anyone feels differently in chat. I myself am thinking you could, because I've actually reacted multiple times at once. And I have been people pleasing while at the same time freezing and pulling into myself even more, while at the same time actually doing the panicking and all the other stuff that a flight person would do. So yeah, that's just me. I think everyone would have their own idea. I think it also depends where you are on all the different continuums. Okay, because if you're way far on one continuum, I don't know how many of you have ever done the Myers-Briggs test, but that's based off of continuums, introvert, extrovert, okay, judge, okay, all those things. And depending where you are on these continuums, you have a little bit of everything in you. It's the same thing here. And these people are peacemakers. They want everyone to be happy. And they're amiable. People like them. People like them for one reason, because you know what? They tend to be the people pleaser. So of course you like them because they're people pleasers. And but they just have that type of personality that people feel comfortable around. Now, there's also a negative side to that. So for all of us, including myself, who's like, oh, wow, that sounds great. Yep, I'm a fawn, definitely a fawn. Whoa. Watch where you go on that whole spectrum. Because the same person can become a slave very easy. Okay, because again, if you're people pleasing everyone around you, it doesn't take long before what you feel and want yourself does not matter anymore to yourself, because you're trying to please everyone else. So you become a slave to them, a slave to their wants, their needs, their words, everything else. Okay, physically as well as emotionally. And they become doormats. Okay, after all, if you're trying to please everyone in the world all the time and you don't care about what you believe for yourself, you're just going to let whatever happen. And they lose a sense of who they are because, again, they are here to make everyone else happy, not themselves. Okay, where the freeze person is wanting to make sure they are happy themselves. This person is more worried about everyone else being happy. So they lose track of who they are. They lose track of the idea of this is what I need in my life, the boundaries, things like that. They can almost get into a level of servitude too far. I think all of us, at least, okay, myself, I'm not going to say all of us, feel that we should have a level of servitude. You're there to serve other people. Okay, you want to be there for other people in the world. But there comes a point where, you know what, you're important also. So that servitude, you become where you're so focused on everyone else and serving them that you're not serving yourself anymore. And also, there's definitely a lot of things within all these different areas. And there's a hell of a lot more. I mean, seriously, I could have gone on for 3 or 4 hours on this. I thought last night, I was like, oh, this is going to be a short, easy thing. No, this is actually a much, much more in-depth topic than I've given it credit for right now. And on KDK, this one kind of hit me because I did not realize there was another one there. And this one kind of hit me a little bit too. So talking about these things now, okay, we've kind of gone through it. We're all seeing where we are. Each of you, if you want to throw in, you can. If you want to keep it to yourself, where you fall with things. But the problem is we still have the stresses and trauma. The shit continues to happen. Well, we might now know exactly why we're reacting the way we are and why the amygdala is pulling in this physical side, and then the trauma side is bringing in the mental and our reaction to everything. But that's not going to help us when we're in the middle of something. Okay, when we're in the middle of something, we need to be able to stop our amygdala and tell it that, you know what, okay, it's fine. We got it. We know what we're doing and we're okay. It is okay. And so I did want to, even though we could have stopped it with that, I really wanted to follow up on some grounding techniques also. We've been talking about them a little bit here and there, but I wanted to focus on 4, I think it was. Because last week when I was dealing with tech and all that, I needed grounding like crazy. And was I going through trauma? No. In my head, I was triggering at that level at times. And again, because our amygdala, for those of you who may not have been here at the beginning, we talked about how the amygdala actually, for those of you who have been through a lot of trauma, our body gets used to that trauma and keeps expecting trauma. So it gets to the point where anytime we deal with a stress, our body is automatically thinking it's going to be the worst thing possible. Even if it is nothing as bad as me turning on a live and getting nervous at first. Okay, we get to that point and we need to be able to come up with ways to deal with it. So I wanted to talk about some grounding techniques. Okay, a lot of these you guys know. There's some additional ones here that there was one I actually had not heard of before. But first first idea, mindful breathing. Okay, this is something that a lot of us have heard, breathing. That's the best thing in the world to do. And there's many ways you can do this. I know, Amber, you shared with Robbie some ideas, and Robbie shared with everyone on his live one day. Okay, the one I'm going to talk about is a 4-7-8 breathing thing. So what you're going to want to do in this type of situation, your whole idea is you're trying to, yes, mindful breathing, KDK. You're trying to take control away from your amygdala, focusing on all these things it has to do, and just focus on breathing. Calm yourself down. and think, yes, prison mic. Yeah, deep breathing is huge for me too. So in this type of thing, you're going to find a comfortable place, whether it's sitting in a straight back chair, sitting Indian style on the floor, in the bathtub, you name it, you can do it anywhere. Just don't drive while doing it, siren, please. And you're going to sit, close your eyes, and you're going to breathe in for a 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to hold it for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then breathe out for an 8 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all you do. Some people will do a 5-5-5. Find out what's comfortable for you. I had pulmonary embolisms a few months ago. I'll be honest with you, some of these counts are a little hard for me. So if you have asthma or something, find something that works for you. But just that breathing, and then repeat it. Repeat it a couple times. They said, okay, with the 4-7-8, repeat it 4 times is what they suggest. But you could do a 5-5-5. I've done a 5-5-5 before. And so that's your first one. And the whole idea there is just being able to calm yourself down, because remember, we talked about how you start hyperventilating in this type of situation. So this is going to stop the hyperventilating, but it's also going to help you kind of zero in. Sorry, getting treat number 2 ready. And so next one is called the chair technique. So the chair technique, Mama Jane, yeah, you're going to pass out if you do that. And that's the thing. That's why with any of these things, you adjust it for what is going to work best for you. Because after all, this is about you. It's not about what some scientific person decided to come up with, or medical person decided to. So the chair technique, the main focus here is on feeling. Okay, if you're focusing on feelings around you, your body, your head is not everywhere else. Okay, your head is not in the, yes, throw the chair prison. I love that. Yes. And there is that also, actually. There is actually that. And this one, you're just going to sit. You're going to actually just sit yourself in a chair. I've got a straight back chair right here in a really messy bookcase, sorry. And you're going to sit with your back up against the back of the chair. And just sit. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. And just, what does that feel like? What does the back of the chair feel like? For me, the back of the chair, I've got this open area where my butt hangs out. Okay, I can feel the sides of it. Okay, I can feel it's a little cushioned behind there. My t-shirt is kind of rubbing against the material and catching on it. Now my legs themselves, the knobs are kind of hitting right at the bottom of, right above my knees area, and it actually is kind of uncomfortable. So I keep putting my toes up so that I'm not straight flat-footed on the floor. So that's what you're doing. Yes, my butt hangs out, Cherry Cat. I was waiting for you to do that. And so what does your chair feel like? Okay, what does your feet feel like on the floor? And this is getting you just thinking about the feelings around you. It's not as much about the breathing side of it now. It's more about what everything feels like. The next one is actually focusing on your senses, the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Okay, 5-4-3-2-1 is go to your senses. Okay, we're getting out of our head. Okay, not letting the amygdala get us all flipped out and all that. So your first thing you're going to want to do, she's messing with me about, oh my God, girl. And 5, name 5 things you can see right now. Okay, any ideas in chat? What do you see right now? I see a calendar with my family's picture on it. I see my puppies running around looking for more treats. So you name 5 things real quick. So calendar, puppies. I see my phone on because I just got a text message. I see a bag of treats. I see my cup of water, and behind me, I see a statue of a puppy doing this. Four things you can touch. What are 4 things that you can touch? Well, I can touch this, and it's got some things here. Okay, it's a Tylenol bottle. Okay, I can touch my chain and feel how it kind of has a rubby kind of weird feeling to actually kind of feels cool doing that. So sorry. And I just thought of other things there. But I have a ice pack for my knee that feels all squishy and stuff like that. One more, I feel this thing that the dogs now are going to want to see. They all going to want to eat it, but it actually is crumbly feeling and shit like that. Next, 3 things you can hear. Okay, I can hear our air conditioner running. I can hear my earrings clattering around. And I can hear the dog bark. Thank you, Pia. And I'm holding on to the trips. You are not going to say, you got it, Cherry. You got Cherry. And next, what can you smell? 2 things, just 2. I can smell those stupid freaking dog treats. Not good. And I need to clean the bird's cage. I can smell the bird's cage. And last, we're going through all of our senses. What's left? What can we taste? Don't have to eat to taste. I can actually taste taste coffee from this morning because I just finished my cup of coffee before I started here. So yes, my dog is helping me. So there is your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique in a real quick rundown. Okay. Next technique, 2 more techniques. The next one is the crown technique. Okay, and now I get to look very, very stupid. Hand on your head. Push, not too hard. Don't kill yourself or anything like that. We do not want to do anything weird to our hair. What do you feel? Well, I feel my hair. I feel where I did not comb it nice and smoothly or anything because it's kind of got those little bumps on it that when you try to put in a ponytail, oh, this finger can feel my ponytail thing. But on the other side, I can feel a weight on it right now. And you can feel that weight. So that's the whole idea of the crown technique. Eyes open, eyes closed, whatever you need to do. And you feel certain things by doing that. You can feel the pressure of your hand on your scalp. Okay, if you move your hands, you can feel that. So there, all of a sudden, now you're pulling even more away. Rather than the focus on the breathing or the senses and all, you're actually pulling into that sense of touch, and which makes a huge difference at that point. And okay, just what does it feel like? And last but not least, and this ties into Mike's idea here. Okay, prison Mike, expel the extra energy. Take that damn chair and throw it as far. No, do not throw the chair. But go for a walk. Okay, do some yoga if you do yoga or Tai Chi or something like that. Do anything that's physical because unfortunately these other ones are really great for centering yourself if you don't have tons of energy in your body. But if you're a flight person, this is not going to help you. Because as a flight person, you got to have tons of energy in your body right now that you got to get out. So you're going to be the type of person that instead of sitting here breathing like that, you're going to want to go for a walk and breathe while you walk. And so that's, in the end, that's what I really wanted to point out is that all these different ideas of things you can do. And I mean, you guys in chat, throw up tons and tons of ideas of what you do. We did this last week. Okay, from taking showers to doing things like hobbies, to listening to music, to all sorts of things that you can do to ground yourself. And but what's important for you to know is that whatever you do to ground yourself needs to mesh with your reaction at the time. because a person who is pulling into themselves is not going to need to necessarily worry about what this feels like. That's not going to do much for them. Okay, but they may need to do some other things, or maybe it does work for them. Look at what works for you. Cherry K puts her earbuds in, her earphones, and she walks. It's awesome to do that. That's one reason why I love stage managing, because the whole time I'm stage managing before the show starts, which is when I'm the most nervous, I'm walking all over the place telling people 5 minutes, 3 minutes, go get your costume on, go do this, go check that. So I'm getting the energy out. So it's important to be able to play with that. And yes, behave, Cherry, just because Mama Jane writes that down. And but yeah, no, so there's so many things that we can do when we're doing these types of things. So please take a moment to think this through. Once I hit that in broadcast button, take a few minutes for yourself. Okay, I keep talking about a toolbox for everyone. A toolbox being, what do you do when you're having issues? Whether it is anxiety, okay, whether it is this type of response kicking in, whether it is depression, whatever, create a toolbox for yourself. Okay, write it down on a piece of paper so you don't forget. If you deal with things such as self-harm or suicidal thoughts or things like that, get phone numbers for it. Okay, just as a reminder, guys, I am not a mental health professional by any means. Okay, I just look at all this stuff because I've got a lot of stuff I got to deal with. And coming back to you guys, so please continue your own journey working with yourself and coming up with ways that you can do things. We all are stronger when we come together to work with this crap. And because a lot of times it's just talking that helps. So please spend that time for yourself. Spend that time getting to know other people, okay? Expanding your social outlook, okay, all that stuff. Talking about social now. And yes, thank you, Katie. Thank you, Katie K, my dear. I look forward to these Fridays. I really do. And I've been trying to come up with other ways I can give you guys more material over time, but I really appreciate that. Talking about social, 2 levels. First of all, Cantina, old style Cantina, okay, that I have not been able to be at Cantina because I haven't been here. I only have 2 more weekends of the show this week, and then next week, then I'm done. I have been asked to actually assistant direct a show right now. A couple of you guys know about that. I am probably going to do it, but I've told them, actually, I already told them this. I have a standing appointment on Fridays, and I need to be there for it because I'll be honest, you guys are important for me. I need it for my own mental health to be around all of you guys, and I need to be there. So hopefully in about 3 weeks from tonight, 3 weeks from tonight, I will be able to join you guys for Cantina, but you guys still have Cantina. And guess what? Cantina is happening tonight. Miss Rosaling is going to do Cantina. So please keep an eye out for the link and all that, because I know you guys are having a blast with that. Okay, I keep hearing about it. There you go. Rosaline just shared the link. Please, please go. Enjoy. Have fun. I mean, I'm living through you guys right now. I'm coming home and watching Cantina and everything, and you guys have no idea how I'm living through you guys right now. So please, please enjoy it and have fun. And next week, join in Discord. Okay, those of you who are not in Discord right now, please feel free to join Discord. I am right now, I am going in here to get the link just in case there's any noobs out there who would like to join us. Here's the Discord for this week. Please join us in Discord. We do have a lot of fun in there. I've been working on a couple different ideas for it. So please come on over to Discord. And I look forward to seeing all you guys. Every week, this week should get a little calmer now that I don't have, no, never mind. I'm going to be assistant directing. No, it's not going to get calmer. And, but that's fine because it's a Broadway musical I'll be directing, but here in Hawaii. but yeah, it'll be fun. So I really hope this helped you guys. I really hope this helped you guys because it really, last night doing the research, especially the thing on the fawn, it really helped me. So I will be seeing y'all in chats. I'll be seeing y'all in Discords. I'll be seeing y'all all over the place. I'll see some of you guys in my dreams, most likely at this point. Yeah, everywhere. And also, no, I really enjoy our time together. So I look forward to talking to you guys later. Make sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, hit that bell, ding dong, and I will see y'all around. Thanks, guys. Aloha. Love ya. Bye-bye.